All right, everyone. Happy Friday. Welcome to this week's Marketing Ops AMA. Ask Us Anything. Alicia, you're switching things up today.
I wanted to switch things up, kind of now and going forward. So I have a favorite podcast, and it's called Overdue.
Okay.
And for those of you who know it, it's basically two dudes, and every week one of them reads a book and tells the other one about it.
Okay.
And this is actually, I think, a really great format for us, Brandon, because I think you and I each week do fun, interesting things. So I think what we're gonna do is this week I will tell you something fun I've been working on this week, and you
And
get to ask me questions about it. And that way I think our viewers will sort of get a little bit behind the scenes of the work that we do. And also like what it's like to be consulting.
yeah.
So
Perfect.
okay, so what I have been, and especially the past 2 weeks, I've been standing up sprint planning for one of my clients, for one of our clients, which has been I think what's interesting is I ran into problems I did not expect to run into, mainly around the project management tool. So, um, one of the things, so the beginning of the project was actually pretty simple, right? Wherein we decided, yes, we're going to do sprint planning. This is how many points a week we're gonna service. I think there's different methodologies to way the like to do points. I know you work with somebody that does like Fibonacci numbers,
Yeah.
and while I think that's cool, that hurts my brain every time because like, do I know the Fibonacci numbers off the top of my head?
Yeah.
No.
I don't most of the public probably doesn't.
Well, that's the thing. That's what I was like. Why? If I need to have like a cheat sheet to do sprint planning, like, please. So we're just doing numbers. We're doing straight numbers. 1 point equals 1 hour.
Mhm.
Um, and so this is how many like hours you're contracted with us. This is how many like we're gonna put into sprint points, how much for meetings. That part was actually super simple. And then deciding like this is the drop dead. Sprint starts after this point, and then we're in a sprint process. The hardest part was getting Jira to work correctly
Mm,
for the sprint.
mm,
And I feel like I did not approach this like I would have any other technology implementation in terms of like thinking it through properly. I was like, oh, I will just move the tickets. And I think this is something like a lot of us fall into where we're like, this is an easy tool to set up. We don't actually need to do any like scoping, planning, anything around it. We can just jump into it. Um, and this then became like a 3-day saga to move everything from one board to the next and
yep.
then rebuild it. I think you heard me complain about this multiple times. I think everybody at this company heard me complaining about rebuilding the Jira board. Um because I didn't plan for it, right? I just like thought this would be a simple thing. And I think all of us have fallen into that trap. And now I guess like this I am telling everybody the story because I think all of us have simple things in our life right now that we're doing, and at least one of those is going to go sideways because we're like, it's fine, it's whatever.
Yeah, well, I mean, first of all, I want to acknowledge that that is a very mature thing to get to in a marketing ops team, because it creates an easy way for your executive stakeholder to outline how you're supporting the business using
Yes,
points. The
yes,
points
yes,
are unit,
yeah,
this in this perspective, you're an agency, serving your client. But
yes,
if
yes,
you're
yes.
an internal marketing ops team, one of the things that you can do is use those points and translate it to like work you're doing
Mhm.
business that's important. So that's good. Um, but it just highlights this balance between moving fast and moving intentionally. And
Uh-huh.
it's one of those things where could Jira's product make it easier for you to migrate tickets from one place to the other based off of the structure of the tickets? Probably that's a good idea, Jira. But the other thing is, that's one of the trade-offs of moving very quickly and standing up a sprint. And what did you do it in? Like a week and a half?
A week and a half,
Yeah.
like put it
So
up real quickly.
yeah, I think most companies, it takes a lot longer than that.
It
So
does. This is what I actually, and I'm glad you said that it's like a mature organization thing because I think
mhm.
the client we're doing this for is not a particularly like mature marketing ops function overall. Like I think they still have a bit of like it's not quite the well-oiled machine I think they wish it was. But I think what's great is that we've been able to get a actually really well working sprint
Yep.
by focusing on like the core mechanics of what a sprint needs to be. Like, do we have stand-ups? We do not have stand-ups. Um, I think we've done away with a lot of things, but the core point is we are deciding this in these 2 weeks, we are doing a finite amount of work. And if it doesn't fit, it doesn't fit, and something has to move, right? And I think those boundaries, like creating that finiteness to the amount of work we will intake, has helped a ton. And I think any organization of a reasonable size, once you hit a certain amount of like you just have too many requests, you can very easily just like, here's the box.
Yep.
If it doesn't fit in the box, something's got to move, or this has got to go into the next sprint. And I think you can do it quickly, right? And I think that's the other reason I wanted to sort of share the story, is because I think people think sprint planning is this huge complicated thing.
Yep.
And like it can be, right? I know like your Fibonacci numbers client has, it's a whole process. There was slide decks around it. There's more like point systems, and there's a lot of like meat on it.
Mm-hmm.
But it doesn't like have to be that way.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely a science to or an entire industry around sprints and project management and agile. And I am not an agile coach. I'm not an agile expert at all. But and depending on the context of the company you work at, you may not need a sprint, right? You may just
Yeah.
need a organized project management system, right? But a sprint reflects a principle that your marketing ops team has, that there are only so many things that the team can do, and
Mm-hmm.
it's a forcing function to prioritize the work
Yeah.
to do what we have to do to support the business's priorities. That's what it is, and it's extremely valuable, and I think a lot of people could benefit from it.
Amazing. I think it's a great point to wrap up this week. Sprint planning, folks. It doesn't have to be complicated. You can do it in a week. Not that I recommend it, but you can stand it up in like a week and a half to 2 weeks. Obviously better for smaller.
If you have Alysha.
Yeah, there was a lot of like executive decisions that were made. Like, what was nice is like, our stakeholder was like, yes, make the executive decision necessary to force this team into a sprint because we need it, because like there's only so many hours in a day.
Yeah.
But anyway, if you have stories that you would like to tell us and chat with us about, please reach out. Because we love to have you. All right. Bye.